everybody. Welcome to Now That's Love. As you can hear, my little chicken nugget is in the background. But we are your favorite mother daughter duo, and we are back at you talking about the Four Agreements.
Yes, the book from Don Miguel. This is a life changing book. We read it
We
back
are,
in 2012.
yes, we are on our last one, everybody. So if you
Yes,
missed out, go back 3 podcasts. But today we are going to be talking about not making assumptions, which
yes.
I feel like that can be pretty hard to do sometimes, but it is
hmm
possible.
So, we're going to do a few of the little quotes from his book. The biggest assumption that humans make is that everyone sees life the way we do. We assume that others think the way we think, feel the way we feel, judge the way we judge, and abuse the way we abuse. We are afraid to be ourselves around others because we think others will judge us, victimize us, abuse us, and blame us as we already do ourselves. The
Mm,
problem with making assumptions is that we believe they are the truth. We make an assumption, we misunderstand, we take it personally, then we react by sending emotional poison with our word. This creates a whole big drama for nothing. Assumptions are made so fast and unconsciously most of the time because we have agreements to communicate this way. We've agreed that it is not safe to ask questions. We've agreed that if people love us, they should know what we want or how we feel. So, making
mm,
assumptions is a setup for suffering because usually we gossip about our assumptions. We make assumptions and believe we are right. Then we defend our assumptions and try to make others wrong. So, this was, for me personally, a question I kept on asking myself in any type of situation in uh, that I feel off in talking to somebody. I would ask myself, are you taking this personally, or are you assuming that, are you assuming that you already know the answer instead of communicating? Was it worth it to communicate with this person? Say they did something, because so much is done on social media, so much is done via text message and everything else.
oh, and text
So,
messages so
and
sketchy, going back and
yeah, people
forth.
might, right, and you might
Like, oh
assume
my
that they
gosh,
mean
they didn't
this.
send me an emoji. They must hate me.
Literally, it's so catch yourself doing this. I just witnessed this. You you can get a text, say you're on a dating site or whatever, and you get a text message. The way you're on your map, you could read the message like, oh, I cannot believe he just said that to me. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. I had a person talking to me about her dating experience, and she's how she was literally saying his voice, and she never met him, and da 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 and everything. And I thought, when I was hearing the words, just a second, because our brains can be more wired of thinking people are kind, people are mean, you're a victim. Whatever your story has been in the past, a lot of times will be
Yeah.
the assumption you're going to start to make.
Been hurt by girls in the past. One little snide comment that you might think is snide, you're just like, oh my gosh, like she's such a bitch. She's not. Just assume
Right.
it.
Just think of all the things during your day. You can just walk through your day and say,
Yeah.
am I assuming what they are feeling? Am I assuming what they really meant by that comment? Am I assuming you're watching something like we bring back the reality TV? Are you
Yeah.
assuming you are on this side or that side or
Well,
whatever,
because even facial expressions too. Like I'm gonna be honest, I have an RBF, which is resting bitch face for people that don't know. And I would Jerome has caught me, even some of my coworkers, my friends, they'll look at me and I'll be on my phone or something. I'm like, and then they're like, "Are you okay? Are you fine?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I didn't notice until I recorded myself. Record yourself just randomly one day in your room. Pretend that it's not there. And I saw myself and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have like the worst resting face. I look so unapproachable. I don't look like necessarily in a good mood, like woo, which people once you get to know me, they understand that like my facial expressions don't necessarily lead up to what I'm thinking. My thinking process in my head just sometimes my face just fully just rests and I don't look completely there, but don't even just assume just based off of not even words but just their facial expressions because someone just might be deep in thought, or they're not. I mean, sometimes you're
Well,
just in your own zone.
right. It's good. And I think it's a good example that you had friends and a husband that came up and asked you, felt like they could ask you, because that takes me
Yeah.
to a time I'm usually Mrs. Pretty much Smiley Pants. I just like to smile. I
Yeah.
do. But I was in the gym and I was working out, and this man came running up to me, and he was used to me being Mrs. Smiley Pants with my clients, right? I'm just talking to my clients, and I mean, I'm not always smiling. I don't want you to think that, but uh, I was really kind of saying a prayer, gratitude prayer, that I was just in my moment with my headphones on, and I was doing some kickbacks, and he came running up to me, put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I just sat there and thought, I honestly thought, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not okay. Am I blue? Did I turn white? I
Yeah.
like, out of,
Gonna pass
I'm
out.
having a heart attack. And I said, yeah, I said, I am okay. I said, why? And he's like, well, you're just usually smiling. And I thought, it's very interesting because he was normally not at the gym when I was actually working out, where I'm just like in my zone and just thinking about mind body connection and what am I working right now and gratitude and all that different things. And so I was in a different way of being. But I really appreciated, actually. I mean, it really melted my heart that this sweet gentleman was
Yeah.
concerned, and that
Checking
he
up
didn't
on you.
assume and just sit there and think, oh, wow, she's this or that. He was really,
Yeah.
truly, genuinely caring. And so just know that most people, it, the communication is so beautiful in this four agreements, the agreement that we make with communicating,
Yeah, your
because
power of word.
yeah, it can be a yes or a no, or somebody doesn't want to talk to you. But in the end, it's like I went on a walk today out in nature, and I said hello to everybody, good morning to everybody. And there were probably three people that didn't have headphones in and didn't smile back and didn't say hello. But as I walked past them, each time there was a different reaction. I thought, well, I might be the only person that says something, with a smile today to her.
Well, and who
Um,
knows too? Maybe like they were so crazy in their thoughts, their
right.
mind was,
She might
and
have been
it's like you can't
meditating.
take it personally.
Right.
There's another four agreement.
There's another four agreement. I can't take it personally. They literally, I really feel like the agreement of the assumption, not assuming and not taking things personal,
They're
coincide so
cross.
well.
Yep, crossroads.
They cross so well together, because a lot of times you're taking it personally and you're assuming. You're assuming and then you're taking it personally.
Yeah.
So those were always back to back. Ashley and I have another one we want to read, because kind of about relationships.
Yes.
Real love is accepting other people the way they are without trying to change them. If we try to change them, this means that we don't really like them. It is easier to find someone who is already the way you want him or her to be, instead of trying to change that person, which we all know is the silliest thing ever, to try to change anybody, which we,
Hmm.
probably have all had those times we thought. Find the courage to ask for what you want. Others have the right to tell you yes or no, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everybody has the right to ask you for what they want, and you also have the right to say yes or no. In any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think, and we don't have to say what we want. We assume they are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they
Hmm.
don't do what we want, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with communication, and just also with not assuming that they're going to do things because you think those expectations can lead to a lot of disappointments. And stop trying to change people around you. They show you their true colors just by talking to them. There's so much that you learn just by sitting back and listening to what people say, because that will tell you a lot about a person, honey buns. But I realized that in just my relationships with friends and my husband and I's relationship, where they're gonna show you who they truly are. Like, stop trying to change people around you to fit this mold of like this perfect human being, which no one's ever perfect. We're always just trying to do our best. Another four agreement. But like, stop trying to mold somebody. They are who they are, and you have the choice of being like, okay, me, this person, I can accept like their little quirks. That's okay. Like I can have them in my life. It doesn't harm me. But stop trying to make this perfect rom-com man that is just going to know everything about you and assume things about you. you know, I think it's funny how in relationships we hop into it and we honestly already start finding the red frickin' flags. Like, well, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing that. I think just study the person. Let's just let people be who they are. And if they don't
Right.
fit, you have the choice to leave.
You made a list, Ashlyn, of things that people are naturally, when you looked up assumptions that are
Oh, yeah,
pretty
let me pull that up real
normal.
quick. So I thought these were funny because I have all had these thoughts personally. And if you have too, comment below, let
Yeah,
us
comment
know.
below. We'd like to hear the,
Because it's always so funny that we are all honestly all one and all connected. So you didn't hear back from a friend in a week or so. I'm going to be honest, I'm that friend. I get busy. Like when I was doing school and motherhood, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to text my best freaking friend back because sometimes we just mentally text back. But then you think, oh, you assume that she doesn't want to invest in this relationship anymore, or you weren't invited out to a birthday party. And then you just assume that you're an afterthought of you just got randomly invited within the day before, or your boyfriend or girlfriend left a message on red. Oh, they must be angry at me, or they're tired of me. Oh my gosh, they're probably cheating on me. So many assumptions when you get left on red. We can all freaking say that. And then I think this happens in a lot of girl-girl relationships where two of your friends go to the movie theaters and don't invite you. Oh my gosh, they must be talking about me. Oh my gosh, I'm totally kicked out of the group. You start assuming all these crazy things about your friendships and relationships. I personally feel like if you're whole within yourself and love yourself, you won't assume it. Like I don't assume that my husband is out cheating when he goes out places to go and watch fights because I'm like, I love myself and he does something stupid. That's up to him. I will find out because I'm a witch. No.
well, no, but
But
he does a lot of actions and words that
yes, that too.
always
I mean,
create the
I'm just
foundation that you wouldn't outthink that for sure.
exactly as we talked about 2 episodes back, we've created that firm foundation where we have that trust. And even in my friendships too. It's the same thing where we have found trust within each other and open communication where we don't assume things. It's just our relationships back and forth, and it's so silly assuming. Like it just eats up your entire day, y'all. You're just gonna sit there and it's if you start assuming, start doing something for yourself.
There's some
Like go
huge
for a
stories that
walk.
can be created through assumptions. Before you know it, you're
Gosh,
in a full battle against
you are
a
going
whole
on a
entire
roller
nation.
coaster, a whole freaking water slide of they're probably doing this and doing that, and they must
Yeah.
hate me.
Yeah, this book is just comes down to 4 agreements we can make within ourselves that create this beautiful heaven here on earth and in our mind. So really creating this peace within, and he does talk about living in the present moment along with um, when you're in the present moment and you recognize an assumption or you can ask yourself, am I doing my best? And I wanted to kind of mention this because I think that when we hear doing our best, we also think maybe there's some paradigm, like some backstory to doing our best is a religious background or a school background that makes us feel like somewhat perfectionism. So take that weight off of you with that. I wanted to kind of go back a little bit from the last episode of just understanding
And we can
that,
talk about in our next podcast spiritual
yeah,
bypassing, which I feel like
yeah,
all of us in this community of
it's,
awakening have
yeah, it's
all
very
gone through. It's part of the
much,
experience.
it is part of the experience. And so when we first read the book, as we're closing this down, I remember reading it and feeling so amazing and thinking, this is, I've always known this. My spirit has always known this. I
Yeah.
also felt immensely overwhelmed because I thought I was still in my perfectionist mindset. And how am I going to accomplish this? I need to have it accomplished within 3 weeks. That's it. I'm going to master this book
Yeah.
within 3 weeks. And it literally has been a beautiful journey. And it
And
has,
we're still doing it. To
yeah,
this
it will be
day, we go
forever
down the
and
list.
be part of our life. You know, there's days I've laid in bed and I thought at the end, I'm like, you know what? I've just done my best today. Every day I've just done my best. And if today's a total complete reset day for me because of some things that have gone on, I'm still doing my best. There's just this such compassion and self-love and self-worth in still, showing up. And I think something that popped into me yesterday is the assumption of like what other people think of us by what we own or how we dress, because we are telling ourselves that story that our value is there. So something that I've really been popping into my own mind is my worth is not in that. Already have my worth does not come from what I'm wearing, doesn't come from what I drive, doesn't come from
Your
the home I
items.
live in.
Hmm.
It's I'm worthy right now and I'm enough right now. And so those things can come up in our own assumption land of just ourselves, just
Hmm.
assuming things about ourselves like not being enough. And
Oh, yeah. And you
we all
create
are
these
enough.
assumptions within yourself through stories that you have told yourself in
Yeah.
that process.
Yeah. We are going to end this beautiful podcast with lots of love. Ashlyn and I just wanted to close up and do this book that was one of our first life changing
Yes.
books that really got us centered into living a more peaceful life within and really becoming more authentic selves. So I'm going to say goodbye with Ashlyn.
Yes.
She's a mama. She's got to go be with her
Woo!
baby.
He is throwing trucks
Well,
right now.
and
Oh
it's
my goodness.
life.
Yep, it
Lots
is
of
life.
love. Peace from our home to your home, and we will see you next week. Thanks for following. Bye bye.